Welcome to Public Affairs by the International News Media. We are talking to Cecilia Gaerlan, who is the Executive Director and the founder of the Bataan Legacy Historical Society. Thank you for being with us today, Cecilia.
Oh, thank you. It's my honor to be in your program.
Thank you so much. Cecilia, I know you have founded this society. Well, tell our viewers and our listeners about the Historical Society.
Okay, so it was actually founded in 2012 as a response to address the lack of information on the Filipino defenders of Bataan and Corregidor during World War II in the Philippines. So, when I was growing up, my father, who was in the Death March but survived, he used to tell us stories about the war, but the way he framed the stories, he was a comedian. So we didn't realize the sacrifices and the sufferings that they had during the Bataan Death March. And it was only in about 2011 when I found out, while doing readings of a book and a stage play that I wrote called In Her Mother's Image, which was set during World War II, that not too many people have heard about the Bataan Death March. And so that's how it started. I started doing presentations. Then I started doing research and interviewing veterans. And then in 2012, we had the first Bataan Death March commemoration at Cal State East Bay here in the Bay Area. And since then, we've been commemorating the event annually. But anyway, that's how it started. And then in 2014, Bataan Legacy became a nonprofit. End of that year, we learned about the legislation called AB 199, which was actually passed in 2011. And what the bill states, it was a legislation passed by the California legislature. So what the bill states is that AB 199 encourages for the inclusion of the experience of World War II Filipino veterans in the History Social Sciences curriculum framework for California. However, in 2014, nobody was working on making this happen because a legislation and is a separate thing. You need to work with the California Department of Education. It's not an automatic mandate. And also, because of the verbiage of the legislation, it was not a requirement. It doesn't state it requires. So that's how we started. And coincidentally, end of 2014, they were beginning the California Department of Education was beginning the revision of California's curriculum framework, which only happens every 10 to 12 years. Mm-hmm. So that's how it started. It's a democratic process because it's an open meeting. What they do is they issue the draft of the curriculum framework. In our case, it's the history curriculum framework. And then you address the points that are in there. And this went on until July 14, 2016, when the California State Board of Education approved the revised curriculum framework. And this was approved for inclusion in the grade 11 U.S. history for California. So this will be the first time that this will be mandated, not just in California, but the entire United States.
Congratulations. You really are doing a marvelous job in terms of giving information to a lot of people, as you said, are not even familiar with the Death March and the Bataan Legacy, etc. And you're doing this very challenging thing. How difficult, or was it a very difficult process to start with?
It's a very difficult process. Also, even though it was, number one, it was a very difficult process. I mean, initially, when we first started, we met with the state superintendent at that time, Tom Torlakson, and also the executive office of the Instructional Quality Commission, which was the body within the California Department of
All right.
Education.
Hold off on that thought, and as we segue to the second portion on public affairs.